The Chiefs are staring down not just an incredibly tough schedule to close out the season, but a fundamental challenge with their team identity. If they want another Super Bowl ring, things need to change over these next few games. Patrick Mahomes and the offense have to step up. The defense simply can't keep carrying the team at this elite level week after week. But there's some promising news about potential changes ahead, so let's talk about it. After Week 13, the Chiefs remain the top seed in the AFC following their victory over the Raiders on Friday. But several teams are closing in fast, which means Kansas City likely can't afford many losses. The Bills are just a game behind KC and hold the tiebreaker after beating Kansas City a few weeks ago. Buffalo just dominated the 49ers in a snowy showdown, 35-10. In the playoff picture behind the Bills, the Steelers have climbed to 9-3 and currently hold the third seed, thanks partly to the Bengals' struggling defense that allowed Pittsburgh to put up over 500 yards of offense and 44 points. Moving down the standings, the Texans have claimed the fourth seed, leading the AFC South at 8-5 after a narrow victory over the Jaguars. The Chargers hold the fifth seed right now, coming off a 4-point win over the Falcons, where Kirk Cousins had a nightmare game with 4 interceptions. The Ravens, who seemed unstoppable earlier this season, have now dropped to the 6th seed after falling to the Eagles 24-19. This puts Baltimore in a tough spot heading toward the playoffs, where every point is crucial. The Denver Broncos have managed to claim the 7th seed after a stunning victory over the Browns. A Broncos win put them at 8-5, 2 games ahead of the Colts, who are sitting on the playoff bubble at 6-7. That would make 3 AFC West teams currently in the playoff picture. Looking at these standings, it becomes clear just how challenging the Chiefs' final stretch really is. 4 of their last 5 games are against current playoff teams. They face the 5th-seeded Chargers this Sunday night, followed by the Browns, who are outside the playoffs. Then comes the real gauntlet, the 4th-seed Texans, 3rd-seed Steelers, and 7th-seed Broncos to close out the season. The schedule itself is brutal enough, but there are other factors making this stretch even tougher. Kansas City's bye week was all the way back in Week 6, and now they're facing 3 games in just 11 days. Browns on December 15th, Texans on December 21st, and the Steelers on Christmas. This final stretch isn't just difficult, it's potentially season-defining. If Kansas City drops a couple of these games, which is entirely possible given how many close, stressful matches they've had, they could lose more than just their first-round bye. The upcoming stretch starts with what promises to be an intense matchup against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. The Chargers are in an interesting spot right now. Their offense struggled notably against the Falcons, managing just 3 field goals against Atlanta's 22nd-ranked defense that typically allows 24.3 points per game. Even with their defense creating 3 additional possessions through interceptions, the offense couldn't find the end zone. Their only touchdown came from a pick 6, followed by a successful 2-point conversion, bringing their total to 17. The Chargers' second-half performance is particularly concerning. They ranked 31st in yards per game and 30th in points per game after halftime heading into last Sunday's game. This could be crucial against a Chiefs defense that's shown some vulnerability lately, allowing 27 points to Bryce Young and giving up 340 yards and 2 passing touchdowns to Aiden O'Connell. The key question will be whether the Chiefs can maintain their defensive intensity in the second half. Where? The Chargers have struggled. Still, Justin Herbert presents a different challenge than O'Connell or Bryce Young. Plus, these Chargers have something those other teams don't. A coach like Harbaugh, who's already established them as one of the NFL's best coached teams despite just arriving. Herbert's numbers tell an interesting story. 13 touchdowns with just 1 interception this season. While he's throwing less than in previous years, his connection with second-round rookie Ladd McConkey has been exceptional. The Irish rookie has racked up 58 catches for 815 yards and 4 touchdowns, averaging an impressive 5.5 catches and 91 yards per game over his last 6 outings. However, injuries might significantly impact this matchup. McConkey's dealing with both a shoulder issue and a knee injury from the third quarter of Sunday's game, with the knee injury's severity still unknown. Adding to the Chargers' concerns, they just lost their lead running back J.K. Dobbins to injured reserve with an MCL sprain. Of course, in true rollercoaster fashion, the Browns answered right back with Jameis hitting Jeudy for a 70-yard touchdown. But that Mims play. That was Bo Nix at his most confident this season, so good it even got Antonio Brown's seal of approval. Next-gen stats showed just how incredible that throw was, threading the smallest of needles. Bo Nix did throw his first 2 picks since the first drive since that Baltimore game a month ago, but honestly, neither pick was entirely on him. And while you might question that aggressive deep shot to Mims, it's refreshing to see Sean Payton showing that trust in his quarterback. After 8 years of constant checkdowns, this aggressive style is a welcome change. What's really impressive? Rookie Bo Nix didn't take a single sack against a defense led by Myles Garrett. He engineered the game-winning drive and kept his connection hot with Courtland Sutton, who put up another 100-yard game. Those two have developed some serious chemistry. Now, while some say this Broncos offense is too lateral and dink and dunk, this game showed the opposite. If anything, they might have been too aggressive. The ground game with Jaleel McLaughlin and Javonte Williams was working, combining for 96 yards on 17 carries. McLaughlin was especially hot in the third quarter, might have scored if not for an uncalled face mask. Speaking of calls, there were some head-scratchers in this one. That missed false start on Wyatt Teller on 4th and 1. Even Jameis Winston, who once thought Bruce Arians was black for several years, saw that one. Former Bronco Chris Harris Jr. called it on Twitter. This defense is bringing back memories. Not quite the 2015 unit, but more like that 2012 defense with its elite edge rusher and opportunistic secondary. For perspective, that 2012 squad had 6 touchdowns in 16 games. After this, fans started comparing the 2024 Broncos and their legendary 2015 Super Bowl winning team, especially on defense. While the 2015 squad was renowned for its dominance, this year's Broncos have already recorded 4 defensive touchdowns, closing in on the 6 scored by that iconic unit over the entire season. And while we mentioned Benito's big night, we've got to talk about Jaquan McMillian. That final pick 6 wasn't just about Winston making a mistake. That was an elite play by McMillian when it mattered most. The Broncos were only up by 2 points late in the 4th, and everyone was nervous about giving up a field goal or touchdown to lose it. Instead, McMillian stepped up huge. Even after that pick 6, the Browns tried to make it interesting, but Cody Barton sealed the deal with the final interception. Look at where this puts the Broncos now. 8-5, winners of 3 straight, current 7th seed in the AFC playoffs with a 2-game lead over the Colts, and NFL.com giving them a 76% chance to make the playoffs. The Broncos have a bye in Week 14, followed by crucial matchups against the Indianapolis Colts, Los Angeles Chargers, Cincinnati Bengals, and Kansas City Chiefs. These games will be pivotal in determining their playoff fate. Notably, the upcoming game against the Colts is particularly significant. A victory could bring them within 1 win, and a Miami Dolphins loss, of clinching a playoff berth. This team is on the verge of their first winning season since 2016 and their first playoff appearance since Super Bowl 50. And remember, these are the same Broncos that experts predicted would be one of the worst teams in the league. Not so fast. That's all from my side. But now it's your turn to join the conversation. Do you think Bo Nix has proven himself as the quarterback of the future for Denver? Which player do you think deserves the most credit for this win? Bo Nix, Courtland Sutton, or Nick Bonitto? Was this game a turning point for the Broncos season, or do you think there's still work to be done? And here's a big one. Can this team make a deep playoff run, or will their aggressive style catch up to them against tougher opponents? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying these breakdowns. The Broncos are just getting started, and the playoff race is heating up. Stick around for all the AFC West updates, game recaps, and hot takes as we count down to the postseason. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's ride! This is top priority. These offensive adjustments are crucial for the Chiefs heading into this final stretch. Facing 4 playoff teams in their last 5 games, the offense simply must generate more points. The path forward is clear. Better protection for Mahomes, hopefully aided by Humphries, more explosive plays, and improved red zone efficiency. The return of Pacheco and the anticipated addition of Hollywood Brown should help achieve these goals. Despite these challenges, perspective is important. Kansas City has already secured their playoff spot, and key players are set to return when it matters most. So, what do you think? Do you see the Chiefs successfully shifting their identity at this critical point? Can Mahomes and the offense step up to compensate for the defensive struggles? Let me know in the comments below.